Hi, I'm Jessie Bakke, an owner of the Pineapple School, and this is how I live my work.
So welcome to Living the Work.
Thank you. Thank you
I'm
for having me.
so happy to have you. I'm excited. This is a special interview for me. Uh, and so before I say anything else, I would love for you to introduce yourself, tell us who you are.
Sure. So my name is Jessie Bakke, and first and foremost, I'm a mom to two little ones. Edwin and Paloma are 5 and 2. I'm also a wife. My husband Sam and I have been married for about 11 years.
Mm.
And then in my professional life, I am one of the owners of the Pineapple School, which you know well.
Yeah.
It's a Spanish immersion preschool. And as I said, I'm one of the owners with my sister and brother-in-law. And we have 3 locations here in San Antonio.
hmm
Um, and yeah, so I'm involved in the day-to-day business, and also in charge of curriculum, special events, and helping with staff training. So I'm behind the scenes, but also very much present in all of our schools every day. So
Okay. Yeah. So we love the Pineapple School. This has been school for our kids for many years. It still is, and it was so special for us because when we started looking, I was looking not for much a setup or so. I was looking for a vibe and like a safe place where I could feel like I could, the first child is the hardest, and I could feel like I could live in there and he would be okay and I would be okay and everything will be fine and I could go to work and just focus on what I was doing. Of course, you can never do that 100%, but in the best way possible. So whenever we came to the Pineapple School, we were at the Huebner location. It was just, when we walked in, we felt it with the people, with the teachers, with you guys. Like everything was such an amazing vibe and setup that I was like, I need to get in.
oh.
And then with the wait list and all, everybody wants to get in. So I was like, I'll just manage, but I'll make it happen. And I'm so happy that I did because Roberto and I have been so proud of this decision and so that we continue to do it every kid that we had.
Yeah.
And we love it. We just love it. I mean, we admire so much what you guys do. But so I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions. And so how did you and your family manage to make the Pineapple School what it is today?
Sure. So I'll tell you a little bit about how we started. So our first school opened in 2010. It was a partnership between my sister and her husband and my parents. At the time, I guess I was studying at the time in landscape architecture. So nothing to do with education. But they started the first school, which is on Huebner near the medical center. And at the time, Spanish Immersion was not what it is now in San Antonio. It was a little bit of a risk. It was one of the first programs to open here. So they didn't really know what to expect, but saw pretty good success right away. Went on a wait list in not too much time. So once that school stabilized, we started looking for land and eventually opened the second school in Stone Oak in 2015. And then that's when I joined, around the time that I joined to help with the growth. And then the third school in 2020, which is this campus here in Camp Bullis. So yeah, I think the success can be attributed to a couple of things. I think first and foremost, it's the culture, it's the vibe that you talked about, that we've created, not just on our own, but with our families and with our staff, and with our children that are here in our care. It's a warm and loving place for the children. I think that parents feel supported by our program and by our staff. And I think the staff really feels like a sense of community here because a lot of them come from other Latin American countries. This isn't their home. So that they really find a lot of friendships here in working at the Pineapple School. So I think that's a big part of it. And in addition to Spanish language, we really try to embrace the Latin culture.
Yeah.
So, the decor, the music, the special events, the food on the menu, is all embracing that warm, loving, colorful culture that Latin America is known for.
I love that my kids are like with the food. They're like, okay, I like the pineapple school rice and I like the pineapple school this and that, but not the one at home. I like that one specifically. And we try to match it. And it's just like, okay, fine, you can eat it there. And then
My kids, they tell me, I only eat
Oh my
broccoli at
God.
pineapple.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
There's a thing. Yeah. I mean, success in that too. Like that's amazing. No, I mean it's what you guys have built. It's impressive, and we love it. And also, like what I admire too, it's like family-owned businesses are not necessarily easy to say it like that. So how do you guys do it? Did you guys like thought about that whenever you're starting, or like how
Well,
did you manage to work it so well?
Well, it's funny how it happened. It wasn't planned as a family business. My sister and her husband graduated from business school. They studied in Costa Rica and then came here. They wanted to start a business. And actually when my dad met my mom, he owned a child care center. So he was a pediatrician and owned a child care center in Galveston, Texas.
Okay.
And so we were raised when we were really young. We went to that school for our early years. And my sister had really good memories of that. And so she came, my parents sold the school and, when we moved to San Antonio many, many years ago. So my sister came to my parents and said, oh, Juan and I want to start a daycare.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, no, you're crazy. Don't do it.
Been there, done that, and
It's a hard business.
yeah.
Well, my dad said, if you're going to do it, I'm doing it with you.
Oh, that's so good.
And that's kind of how the partnership was formed. My sister imagined this like little school in an old house, and my dad was like, no, we got to go big.
Oh.
It needs to be, X number of kids in order to be profitable and to be worth the work that you put in. So,
Yeah.
so the partnership helped them start a little bit larger than was intentionally planned. And then the success was also just not really expected. And then the growth, I was never meant to be part of it, but as they were growing from one school to two, and again, I was working at the landscape architect in Houston at the time. I was working really long hours in like a predominantly male office, deadline driven. I was eager to jump into this opportunity to work in a family business, a family environment, taking care of children and
Yeah, like to try it out and
yeah. So
were you a mom at the time? No, right?
No.
Okay.
No kids, but I saw the future. My sister had kids at the time, and I saw how beautiful it was that she could go to work and they were there with her, but not under care.
Yeah.
So that was something that I saw for myself and my future family at the time. So my husband and I moved from Houston, and I worked at the Stone Oak campus. We were there for 4 or 5 years before we opened this third school. And at that time,
Wow.
I started rotating between 3 schools, and now that's kind of what we do, and supervising, overseeing all 3 campuses.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's hard to find you guys. It's like
I know.
you're all like
People
no,
think I still work here. I'm like,
that's good because everybody sees a different thing, and if you are, in a, doing some stuff and she's doing some other things that you can all supervise.
Yeah, and we have our different roles. I mean, like I said, I do curriculum, events, working a little bit more with the classrooms and the teachers, and she does more of the HR and business development, benefits, that side of things.
I feel that I think that's the success for working with family. If everybody does a different thing and have like a different personality or skill set, that's where it's like.
Yeah. Then my brother-in-law Juan, he's our finance guy, so he's
okay,
the books and the numbers and
yeah, you have the whole setup.
Yeah,
that's amazing. That explains the why. Okay, now things are starting to make sense. Okay, so
not easy though. I'll say that.
No, definitely. Like you get, but I mean, I feel like if you get to manage to balance it out with your family and to discuss, like you were saying, the roles, even if there's gonna be things, but at least everybody knows their lane and you can protect your lane and make sure your lane is okay, and then everybody does their thing, and then that's the way it will. I mean, that's the way it goes with us too. Like, we stay in our lane, and that's the way it's worked for us too.
I don't know if this happens to you, but one thing we struggle with is, Mother's Day brunch or, a birthday dinner, and we're always talking about the business.
Oh yeah.
Really hard to
separate.
cut it off and separate. Yeah.
It's so hard to separate.
But we love it, and we want, in the same room, so let's brainstorm. Or
I know, because you're not always in the same room or like have the time to like have that conversation. No, I mean, we've tried. We haven't managed to conquer the ideal setup on that one yet. Like, we're like, at night we're not going to talk about business, and then we're like talking about this, and then we're like,
quick, one little
that. Or like, if you have a date night, we'll discuss like goals and stuff, and you're like, what are we doing? Like, come on, like, let's just drive a little away, and not because we don't love it, but just I don't know.
You need the break.
Yes. But then talking about that, how do you maintain like a healthy balance? And that's then again personal, between your professional and your personal life, because like you're saying, you're a mom, you're a wife, you look great. You have this impressive business, and hard to manage business, because like we were discussing, you deal with people, and people can be complex, and little kids, we love them, but they can be complex too. So how, it's a lot of emotions, it's a lot of time management, like, so how do you do it?
So it's something I'm always working at. I read books, about time management and how to prioritize time. It's a work in progress, something I'm always working on. And it's changed a lot for me, because when I started in this business, I did not have children. I was married, but no kids for the first several years working here. And then like 5 years ago, had my first child, and that's when things really changed. I used to come home after work and I would just pull up my computer and keep working. On the weekend, if I had a project, I would work through the weekend, no big deal. And it wasn't like an obsession, but I just had all the time in the world.
Yeah.
And then you have kids, and it's bedtime, baths, swim lessons, get dinner, do the dishes, all the things,
Yeah.
And so finding the time has been tough, but I've learned a couple of things, again, that I'm still working on getting right. But I think one of the biggest things is prioritizing looking at what's important, both in my work and at home, being intentional with my time. So when I'm at work, I need to get done what I've set aside to do for that day, and find opportunities to delegate or to seek help from others. I tended to be kind of perfectionist, micromanager. I wanted to do everything myself, my way, and now I've realized that it's not necessary. We have a wonderful, capable staff that can help me with a lot of the workload.
Yeah.
And then of course at home, avoid the time suck of the cell phone, and be present with my kids when I'm home, because
then you get home and you're tired. You're like, look, I like, we discussed that, and we're like, we're giving all of our energy to the office, and then we get home and the kids, they want to be with us. They want to, do this outside of the activities, like they want to be with you. You're saying intentional. So you're like, okay, so I got to breathe in again, and kind of like, you don't get to just go there and, like you're saying, like, just scroll. You can do it, but then it's like,
no, it's not worth it when you map it out, the hours of the day and everything you want to get done and the time you want to spend with the people that you love. You realize that that really does eat up a lot of valuable time. So just trying to be there when you can be. And I used, I struggle with this all the time, but let me send this email real quick, or I just need to make one phone call, and the kids are, yelling in the background. So it's almost not worth it. Like,
I know,
just put the phone away and put them to, after they're in bed, then you can send the email, or then, things come up, of course. But also in my work, I can typically anticipate the busy moments, like right now we're approaching the start of school. So I'm going to have a busy couple weeks. So leading up to this, I'm trying to bank good quality time with my kids and my husband, because I know that for the next weekend, couple weeks, I'm going to be, busy in my work. So just trying to anticipate those moments so that they have some good quality time stored up.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when I do have windows with them during busy times, being very intentional, putting the phone away, being there with them, planning something fun. Let's go get ice cream. It only takes, 20, 30 minutes. And, it's okay to take those breaks. And it's important to take
Yeah.
those breaks.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I feel like, energy management is the main thing. I feel like if you're able to prioritize, like you were saying, and then to manage your energy during the day, like to know that your day doesn't end at 5,
yeah.
that you have like, let's say like blocks of a day. So your morning and then your main hour of work. And then you have that last block where it requires so much energy and so much like enjoyment too.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a mental game. Like that's the way it's worked for us. Like when we say mentally, like, hey, it's not exhausting, even if you're tired. It's worth it, and it's so short. People tell you like it's so short whenever they're little and they need you and they're there like all the time, and like it requires a lot of you, but it goes so fast. Like everybody says it, but then you never realize it until you live it, and you're like, oh my God, yeah, it's so
Yeah.
fast. But life happens super
Yeah,
fast,
that's so
and
true.
it's just like like you were saying, you need to be intentional and you need to keep learning.
Mhm.
Like I feel like if we think that we know it all, when you think you have a setup, then they grow and they're in a different stage, or then the business, something happens,
Yeah.
and then you're like,
Figure
yeah,
it out all over
game
again.
on. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's so true. I have a lot of friends that say, and no judgment, but oh, I can't wait to put my kids in bed. My kids go to bed at 6 o'clock, and I'm like, oh no, I get home from work at 6 o'clock.
oh,
So we're just starting the routine, and that's really the only time, when I'm working. Spend a little bit of time in the morning, but that's when we have a time to play
yeah,
and just talk about our day. So my kids tend to go to bed later than they probably should, but
it's worth it.
I try to put in that time because it's exhausting, but it's fun. And
Yeah.
this is an important phase in their lives and in my life
Yeah.
when they're young and home and want to be with me. 'Cause that's
Exactly. Yeah.
not going to be the case forever. So
I know. I know. It's just I cannot even like say it right now out loud, but something that really also like opened my mind was that my mom and my grandma, they will always say to me like, "You're never gonna be done with work. Like you're never gonna be done with work. Like it's not gonna end. Like because you like it, you enjoy it, you have your own business, so it's never ending.
mhm.
So you need to set up some boundaries so that way you can work on yourself and keep that essence that you will convey to your business, that you will convey to your partner, that you will convey to your kids. And therefore, like we also try to tell them, like whenever they're like, oh mom, but you're working a lot and this and that, we're like, hey, but work is good. Like we're doing something important, like we're trying to build this and that. So we get them excited about that too.
Mhm.
So that way they don't feel like it's instead of, but it's a part of your life. And then whenever you do it, then you set up time for quality time, and then you also make them conscious to be intentional to us as well, because
Yeah.
we're like, hey, we're here, we're in vacations, let's get it
Right.
on. Like you're not going to be on your iPad, you're not going to be on, like we're on, like.
Yeah.
So I feel it's
Right.
this game that we play, but I mean, you've done it so good. I mean, that's why we're here. I think you're an example, because we sometimes don't say it enough to ourselves, or we don't see it as we go. But I mean, I feel like we need to say it, and whenever we see it, like to empower those people that are able to play the game and make it successful, because it's not just playing the game; it's to make it right in a way, I think.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
lastly, having engaged with so many parents, navigating different lifestyles, what insights would you share on like maintaining energy, like we were saying, to fully show up in both work and family life? Because you have an open schedule from like what, 6? Like they
The
can drop
school
them
is
off
open from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
7 to 6, so that's a full day.
Mhm.
So, and you have like real professionals in here that and that you deal with. And it's not in the sense of guilt or pinpointing or whatnot. Like how would you say, or what would you suggest on to their setup for navigating energy and balance.
Well, I'll try to share as best I can what I've kind of seen, and just want to say, first of all, that I'm so inspired by so many of our clients like you that have young children, that run businesses, doctors, lawyers. They have sometimes taking care of parents at home. We have single mothers,
Yeah.
work from home dads, all different types of professionals, and in some cases, people who have chosen to stay home and take care of their household, which is also very hard work. What I think is key is having community and asking for help. And I think that comes in a lot of forms. It might come, like I mentioned, at work, asking for help for someone in your workplace to take some of the load off, or at home, asking for help from grandparents, neighbors, friends. I think we serve as part of that community as the Pineapple School, because I think some parents count on the fact that they can leave their child here early in the morning and pick them up in the evening and know that they're going to be happy and loved and cared for. And often they don't want to go home, even when it's
right.
The doors we're locking the doors, which gives me a lot of pride that we can do that for. That we can serve in that role for our families. But I think, and that's something I'm learning too, just being able to ask for help. And I don't think we can do it alone. I think raising children is hard. I think working, can be very taxing, and balancing our own mental health, our family life, our work is just a tough dynamic to figure out. And I think it's really hard to do alone. So I see families that have hired help or have people that they count on to help with their children, or to help in their business. And so for me, I think that's a key, something that I've
to delegate and ask for help. That way you can get a little bit of all worlds. And
and I feel like I find a little bit of guilt or shame in that sometimes, where I'm like, oh, I don't want to hire a babysitter, or I feel bad asking my mom to watch the kids. But it's just necessary. And I think and in the case of my mom, I think it gives her joy.
Exactly.
And I don't think it should be seen that way, because I truly don't think we can do it alone.
It's true.
So I think we have to find the strength to be able to ask for that support. And and I think also, again, just being intentional. I see a lot of parents that that will, they'll have the day off, and I see them come in and they've gone on a date for day, and that's
you're
so
helping on both.
To me, that they'll have the day off but still leave their kids here, knowing that they're going to be happy and that they can spend some time with their partner, and just prioritizing those relationships, prioritizing their work or their mental health or whatever it may be, taking a trip, finding balance. It comes in a lot of forms, but I do see how a lot of families work, and it's nice to have that insight.
I feel like whenever you come here, you know that you're going to be seeing a lot of kids and parents dealing with the same situations and the same little guilt and the same lifestyle. And even if you have all these different setups, to see people that are motivating, that are with a smile, that are loving their kids, that are like investing in their education, in their everything. That is what you're striving for, I guess. So where you feel the support in the community that you were saying. But then again, I mean, this is the best place that we've felt for our kids to stay and to be. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for being here. We love it. And, we'll continue to be here for as long as we can.
Thank you. I'm honored to have served your family and all the families we served. I love my work and love what I do. So I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.